incredible women, my mom, my sisters-in-law, are all part of a group called the Lipska Ladies. And we got a WhatsApp chat that's called the Lipska Ladies. And that WhatsApp chat primarily has recipes and ideas. And I tasted a great salad. Oh, I saw a great idea. Try this when you have company. Make this meal for your family. And let me tell you that even when my WhatsApp is full to capacity and I need to start deleting stuff, one thing's for sure, the Lipska Ladies chat doesn't get deleted because it has all the good recipes. Starting with my mom, that's where I learned to cook, and I've grown up in my cooking life with all my sisters and sisters-in-law and continue to do so. This is Shabbat in 1 hour, right here in Chestnut Hill, out to all my local friends and my friends all over the world, so many who I know and I'm so blessed to know. And it's Mother's Day, and Shabbat and women are so connected. Shabbat itself is called the Shabbat HaMalka, the Shabbos Queen. The energy of Shabbos is a feminine energy, which is so prevalent and marks time, etc., and so on. And Shabbat is a time when we gather with our families and we stand around our Shabbat table. She naturally mothers her natural born children or those who she's adopted to mother, and everyone in their own capacity is mothering those that they love and they can. And everyone can mother in a way. Each woman mothers whatever she has, she can give to the next. Well, today I got to make chicken soup. So enough of an intro, and here we go for chicken soup. So, the Yiddish mamas, what they used to say that chicken soup is penicillin for the soul and for the body, they were right. All these crunchy Gedorah moms now who are making bone broth, and it's good for your gut, and it's so healthy. Ladies, in the shtetl, they were making bone broth, and they knew it was the ultimate medicine. Those who've sat around our Shabbat table knows that Rabbi Mendy likes to give a good joke, and he's prone to tell the story as I'm serving the soup of the Yiddish mama who, unfortunately, she's close to 120 and her husband's close to 120, and he's in the hospital and he's so sick and things are really not good. But she makes her way over to the hospital with a bowl of chicken soup. And the doctor looks at her, he says, "Lady, are you crazy? This can't help." She says, "It can hurt." Well, chicken soup can hurt, and it most certainly can help. So this is how I make chicken soup, guys. I start by making a good old-fashioned bone broth. I use a soup bag, and these are the best inventions yet. They sell them in the kosher section of most grocery stores. The butchery should have them. They're just called soup bags. If you cannot find a soup bag where you live, you could use cheesecloth as well, but these are just really easy if you're able to find them. So, one second, before I cook, I always give tzedakah, because the Rebbe taught that we always give before we ask to receive blessing in our own life, and in cooking, we draw down blessing into our own home. So I will give tzedakah and then put on my gloves. Okay, so I use chicken bones for my soup. They are full of flavor and depth and marrow, and the flavor that they give is just incredible. But I don't like cleaning my soup. This is like the bane of my life, and so I've learned lots of tricks along the way of how to make good chicken soup. So I take my chicken bones and I put them into my soup bag. Okay, you pull the camera back. Okay, so we're just gonna put the chicken bones, here we go, into the bag. And depending on the size of your pot, you can be more generous with your bones. The more the merrier, essentially. You could also use giblets, like necks, etc. You can also use those. And I just tie up, I rinse this chicken before I put it over here. I just tie it all up into a knot, and I have a bag of bones. That goes into a rolling, boiling pot of water. And the reason that the water needs to be boiling continuously is that's how you get clean chicken soup. So I put my water up to boil first. Into that water will go an onion. And into that water will go some salt. Okay, if you're at my Shabbat table, I never put enough salt, but that's on purpose because everyone likes a different amount of salt. So you can add salt as you go along. But I do put some salt into the water when I put the chicken to boil. And I put the bones right into the pot. And here, my friends, is the trick. You bring that back to a boil, and it sits in this pot on a low simmer for hours, like 6 hours. Like if you're gonna be cooking for Shabbat, put it up in the morning. Or you can even, put it up and just let it go and go and go. And the longer your bones are gonna cook, the better your soup is gonna be. And after hours and hours and hours of cooking, you have incredible bone broth. And here is where we come to our pot and we take out the bag of chicken bones. And over here is what we're going to discard. I don't like waste, so I only use the vegetables, you'll see in a minute, that I prepare in advance, that stay, and I serve them. But if you want to add other vegetables that you think will give more flavor, I know some people put a bag in with fresh parsley and dill, or with leeks, turnips, parsnips. Any of those vegetables that you want to maybe discard later could also be boiling in a bag in your pot. So at this point, I take out my bag of bones. You could open that and separate the chicken off and add it back into your pot later once it's a little cooled off. And into my pot of now soup will go my chopped vegetables. I like to use carrots, butternut, and celery. And the reason I use these three vegetables, I think they have great flavor, but also they don't get mushy. I don't like putting a sweet potato will get mushy, and that's not good. So as my soup is boiling, I still have my onion in there because everyone likes a good cooked soup onion. And depending on the size of your pot, you pour in your carrots, some butternut, celery, and now I cover my pot and leave it to cook for another hour. And after 1 hour, my soup will be ready, and I might have decided to add some of the chicken bones back into the soup or not. Well, while my chicken soup is getting ready, who doesn't like a good matzo ball in a chicken soup? So first things first, I am very much in favor of buying a box of matzo ball mix and following the instructions, because my big motto is we got a lot of things to do in our life. We try simplifying the things that we can so that the things that need our energy get our energy. But the reality is sometimes we don't have a matzo soup mix, matzo box mix. Sometimes we just want a good old homemade recipe. So you take a bowl. Into your bowl, you're gonna crack 4 eggs. The 4 eggs, we all know that eggs need to be checked for blood spots, so that make sure that they're kosher. Blood is not kosher, and so we check our eggs to make sure there are no blood spots. 1 egg, 2 egg, the camera should be bent down onto my screen, 3 egg, okay, and 4 egg. Okay, pull it back. Okay. Don't see me. Okay, so here we have 4 eggs. Into the 4 eggs goes 1/3 of a cup of oil, 1/3 of a cup of seltzer. Seltzer is going to make our matzo balls very fluffy and delicious. So 1/3 of a cup of seltzer. I will add a teaspoon of salt and a bit of black pepper and a cup of matzah milk, of matzah crumbs. You know, matzah crumbs makes me laugh. It's like the guy at the matzah factory had all the stuff that he had to throw out, all these extra crumbs, until one day when he realized that if he mushed it up and he sold it as matzah crumbs, we would all buy it. So it's a win-win. Well, your mixture, as you mix it up, is going to be kind of watery, but that goes into the fridge and needs to stay in the fridge till it sets. It's about 20 minutes in the fridge, and after 20 minutes, you're going to have set matzo ball mix. You have to have on your stove a pot of boiling water, and you roll your matzo balls into golf-sized pieces and drop them into boiling water. They get dropped into the boiling water, and you lower and simmer the water for about half an hour or 40 minutes. And after that, you will have beautiful matzo balls, and you'll be ready to serve your soup. So 1 second, here we go. We have got some amazing chicken soup for everybody to try and to taste. I'm going to clear back some of the stuff here, bring forward our chicken soup, and you'll be able to see what a beautiful bowl of chicken soup looks like. Okay, sorry. Okay? Right over here, we have our ready matzo balls. When you are ready to serve, you take out one beautiful matzo ball, and into that you get a ladle of beautiful chicken soup that has vegetables and chicken and broth. You pour that in, some vegetables, some extra broth. Some people like to add in some small egg noodles. My mom always added a little bit of egg noodles, some croutons, and you've got a beautiful bowl of Shabbat chicken soup. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being in my kitchen. And I'm going to pass. We're going to travel all the way across the world to Mauritius, to my sister.
There's a quick question.
Yes?
They want to know what the box mix if you would use seltzer too.
Yes. Oh no, this box mix only has eggs and oil, so we can't use seltzer. But in this recipe, or in a recipe that calls for water, I substituted for seltzer. You'll still have soft, good matzo balls. Boil them in a big pot of water, like a bigger pot of water than you'd expect to, and that helps the matzo balls expand and have room to get nice and big, even if you're using the box mix, the box. Okay, so we're crossing all across the world to Mauritius, to my amazing sister, Mushki Barber. She's going to be making the chicken course.